People, what is going on? Our theme song for the day, and of course, we want to make sure that you in the know, because we got to get it in. Because everybody need to be a part of the conversation. What's going on? What's going on? Can somebody tell me what's going on? Yes, indeed. Whew. Welcome to Hump Day. It is Hump Day. And we got to talk, baby. We got to talk. Yesterday's program, a great program, and glad to see many of you a part of it online. It was interesting to me that yesterday a lot of the phone calls were less like, shoot, what in the world? Where did the phone calls go? A lot of people called me afterwards just to tell me that they were listening and that they were like really upset and shocked that this is what this lady had to go through, Miss Donaldson and her family, about the death of her son. Interesting. Just interesting. So we're going to do some follow-up. I think it's important that we do follow-up. So we will do some follow-up. I did get a couple of calls. I got a couple of calls from some officials that were telling me they didn't know. I also got a couple of calls from folks in law enforcement. So, interesting. Just interesting. And I was really surprised that we did not get a lot of calls, no calls, not one call from our folks, meaning y'all. I was really surprised we didn't get calls from y'all. And so after the show, a couple of my folks called and asked me a couple of questions. And I was like, you know what? I need to ask you some questions. And they were like, what? I said, why didn't y'all call in during the show? And the reasoning behind that was that everybody was just wanted to listen. I said, are you sure that's what it was? I said, it wasn't boring to you or nothing, huh? Because I didn't understand why nobody was picking up the phone like usual to comment. So, with that being said, I asked more than one person. Because I could see you online. I could see my folks online. They were commenting online. I could see Corlisa. I could see, I think, Sandra Muhammad. I could see everybody commenting online. But Wick and I, because John Wick, who's online with us now, saying good morning, all of us, we were in studio. I said, John, what's going on? I said, we got guests on the line. We got Miss Donaldson on the line. We got the deputy chief from the Independent Police Monitor on the line. We got Katie Moore from Channel 4 on the line. But where are the comments from the people that listen to this show every day? And John said, man, that's a good question. I think more so than anything, everybody is like sitting back, just like listening. And I told John, I said, John, when the show was over, I went in the control room and sat with him for a minute. And I said, I got to let you know something. He said, what? I said, man, I am whipped. This show beat me up mentally. You say, yep, I used to go through that all the time. I said, but as the host, as somebody that got to hear this, I said, there's not been too many times that I can tell you that I've been on the air and I have been speechless, didn't know what to say. And listening to this lady's anguish about, I don't even think I got into mentally how are you and your family doing. Mentally, I didn't even ask her, how's your family, how's the psyche of your husband, how are you or his friends and stuff like that, because I didn't know what to say. And I thought about it last night, and Carlisa, you ain't by yourself. I went to bed early too last night. I usually stay up late, but I was so whipped last night. I came in here. I was sitting down trying to do some stuff on my computer because I was trying to just edit some stuff. And I fell asleep in the chair. I fell asleep in the chair. That's how whipped I was. I just fell asleep in the chair. I think I woke up at maybe 2 or 3 o'clock this morning and got up out the chair and went and got into bed. And I was sitting back and saying to myself, what if that was you? Well, what if that was somebody you knew? And I'm not criticizing anybody. It's just the thought that we're in 2020 and this lady cannot get anybody to help her. The agencies that are supposed to be helping you, that are supposed to be protecting and serving you, the agencies that are supposed to make sure that you get all the answers you need, are telling her to go on about her business. I don't care if she's right or wrong. That's not what it is. I don't care if the agencies are right or wrong. That's not what it is. What it got to be about right now is help, justice. And I think these folks deserve that. But all the folks that can help are like, shh, don't say nothing. Ignore her. She'll go away. Shh, be quiet. She's going to want a meeting with you. Don't meet with her. And it made me go, what the hell is going on? What is it? And don't get it twisted. I got some calls yesterday. Oh, baby, I got some calls. We pissed some people off. We pissed some people off yesterday. But I always said in my ignorance level, it's always better to be pissed off than to be pissed on. And I stick by that. It's better to be pissed off than to be pissed on. So I'm getting to the point now that my level of ignorance made me go, no. There are some things that I just can't stand. So the calls that I got last night, and I'm gonna share probably later on this week or next week, probably next week, because we've made it through. We made it through this week, and trying to put together another show about this by Friday is going to be mostly impossible with the folks that I need to talk to. So I told them, I said, y'all need to understand something. It's not that I'm coming for you. I'm not coming for you. We need some answers. And I guess my verbiage in putting this out goes like this. We have to treat everybody equally. If that was your son, your mom, and that happened to you, I think that you would expect me to do the same. If that happened to me, God knows we don't want that to happen to anybody else. If that happened to my child, if that happened to a loved one of mine, I'm expecting the army. I just became Susan Rice. Y'all better send the army to come get these people. So when I got off the air, and I think I left the building probably about 4:30. I was walking slow to my car because I was just whipped. My phone started ringing. Numbers I had never seen before. Numbers I was like, who is this? And y'all got to know that when you're calling me and I don't know your number not in my phone, more than likely you're going to get voicemail. Because they got so many scam artists out here today, I don't even answer the phones. They go, hey, I'm calling from so-so and so-and-so. Don't call me no more. Please don't call me no more. I'm being nice this time. Next time you're going to get cussed out. Then they call you right back the next day. Can you hear me? Like, no, I don't want to hear you. So I started getting text messages. Hey, Gerard, this is so-so-and-so. Can you call me back? So I started calling folks back. What's up? Man, we heard your show. Oh, you did? What about the show? Man, that was pretty rough. So yeah, pretty rough. Well, what we were calling you about, man, is that there's some things that you just don't know. Like, okay, kind of late to call me about some things that I don't know now. Why didn't you call while we were on the air? Well, it'd probably be better to talk to you one-on-one about it. I want to know, can you stop by the office? I was like, sure, I'll stop by your office. I can't come today. I'm not coming today. I'll stop by there when I get some more information and can put some other stuff together. And I said, not only that, I need to make sure that we meet with the homicide detectives or the detectives that can rule this. I said, because somebody can change the ruling. And I said, what you don't want me to do is to start looking in the deaths in the last 2 years of the number of folks that were considered homicides. But because you all wanted your former mayor to walk out of the office with the lowest homicide rate that he's ever had in the history of New Orleans, y'all wanted him to walk out with that title. He's the only mayor in the history of mayors to have a homicide rate lower than anybody in any year that somebody's been mayor, and wanted him to have that title. Oh, baby, politics got a lot to do with this. Found that out yesterday. They wanted Mitch to be able to walk out the door as the mayor that had the lowest homicide rate in the history of New Orleans. So all those murders, all those homicides that could have been considered homicides that were called other stuff, they were considered suicides. They were considered unclassified. They were unclassified until the next year. Baby, they was unclassified until the next year, which you got to remember. That unclassification means that it does not go on the murder roll. Now, let's say you died October, November. And your murder or your demise, I'll put demise, was then considered unclassified. It could have been unclassified for months. October, November, December rolls around, nobody's classified your death. Then on January 1 of the next year, your death is classified as a homicide. It does not go as a homicide for that year. It goes as a homicide of the next year. Then if I didn't want you to be on the homicide list, no investigation, no nothing could come up. We'll just call it suicide. Look like to me that some folks are very scared to say some stuff because of not because of the building or the folks with the development, because of the fact that this goes a little bit higher. See, we were at one level thinking yesterday that, okay, somebody done put these plate glass windows. That's a part of it. But it also had to do with something in keeping that level of homicides low. So if I can keep those homicides low, then when I leave out of here, I can be like, I was the guy that got the homicide level lower than anybody. And then the next year they can come back with those unclassified deaths, and then they can classify them. But right now, y'all better make sure that these deaths are either unclassified or something else, or suicide. How you make that happen? It's easy. Get all the agencies on board. Let them know that we're not going to have anybody shot to death. We're not going to have these folks. We'll just have what we call, and when there's a couple of shootings, now understand something. I'm not making this up. This is the conversation that I had last night with some higher ups, some folks that called me last night. I was sitting there with my mouth wide open. So y'all know why. Carlisa, you know why I went to bed early, because I was spent after doing that show and hearing all of this crap. And I think one of the things that I had to do was to not only just wrap my mind around it, but I have not called Miss Amy back, Miss Amy Donaldson. I have not called her back to tell her this. More than likely, they online with us this morning. I know that she's going to be listening. But our question should be, because if you live in New Orleans, you know exactly what I'm getting ready to say. All of a sudden, you would hear we have a plethora. I'll say plethora of shootings. Correct? It's like somebody got shot here, somebody got shot here, somebody died here, somebody got carjacked and shot and ran over, something happened. It's like that would happen like once or twice in a month. And nobody would say that we have too many shootings. We would title those shootings, we would title those deaths or murders as a spike. That's how they titled them. Oh, it's just a spike in shootings, and there's no such thing as a spike in deaths. Somebody got a bullet hole in their chest. I'll never forget this. There was a example that was used last night. I don't know if y'all remember this, but I'm gonna give you the example. Do y'all remember? I think this was December of last year, or November, December of last year, where there was a motorcycle. Guy was riding at a high rate of speed, and he crashed. And they said that it was an accident. He had a fatality. Traffic had to come out and say, he died because he was traveling at a high rate of speed and lost control. Well, come to find out, now this is what was told to me. I do not know. I need to clarify it, but I'm just sharing the story with you. Come to find out, the guy was traveling at a high rate of speed because he was running from somebody in a car that pulled up on him and shot out the window and shot him while he was riding that bike. He crashed because he was trying to get away from him, and he passed out, lost blood, killed himself. That's what they said. He lost his way, crashed that bike, and he died because of the crash. Yep, that was on Chef Highway. That was on Chef Highway. So as this happened, here comes the coroner to pick him up. They turn him over and find out that he got an entry wound in the chest and an exit wound out the back. So you're looking at a bullet that entered through the chest and exited out his back. He bled out and passed out while he was riding his bike. Crashed, and he died. Now check this out. Because they couldn't find the bullet, they classified it as a accidental death because he crashed his bike. They didn't classify it as somebody got shot and died because of that shooting. Because remember something, there was no bullet. The wound was through and through. He's running for his life because he knew somebody was after him. They shot him while he was on his motorcycle. Was not classified as a murder. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on, think about it. Anytime somebody break into your car, remember something. These 20, 30 vehicle break-ins happening in a neighborhood. They weren't classified as break-ins for 20 or 30 vehicles. They were classified as one incident. One. Not 20 or 30, but one incident. That means that there was only one report. So it only looks like one incident on the reports. And I'm sitting back and saying to myself, no. This is 20 or 30 car burglaries that's put on one incident report. So some of this has to do with manpower. Some of this has to do with, I think, shoddy investigations. But I think the majority of this has to do with manpower, overtime money, not having the proper skills as an investigator or a homicide detective. And then the biggest part of this is the political ramifications of classifying somebody's demise as a homicide and instead of something else, so we don't look like the murder capital of the world. Just think. What have you been hearing about these murders? Nothing. When Nagin, Riley were the mayor and the police chief, you heard about that every day. You woke up getting the paper and it was on the front page of the paper when your former mayor, Landrew, got on. The next thing you know, we got NOLA for life, midnight basketball, and all this other bull crap that don't mean nothing. Wisner funds being taken and putting toward this. The revitalization of the Melanie Boys Home, but we ain't putting boys in there to really do anything. The revitalization of this, we saw all these little white kids that were now called urban specialists and put in City Hall. I'm like, wait a minute. You ever been to an urban area before? No. You're an urban specialist? Did you study urban specialty in school? No. Oh. But my father is a senator. Okay. Let's see, we need to put more police protection in New Orleans. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a contract with the state police. We're going to put the state police in New Orleans. We're like, yay, and then we find out that they're going to be in the French Quarter. But the majority, and at least a third or a fourth of the money that comes from your tax dollars comes from people out in the East. But you have yet to get the police protection that you're looking for. Hmm. But nobody told you how much it costs to get those state police. See, we don't get those state police for free. The city of New Orleans has to pay for that. That's a $2.6 million contract with the state police that we pay for every year to come in and be in the French Quarter. 13 blocks. Because that's the tourist. That's the tourist area. But we'll put $400 million into the Superdome. See, this building that Seth fell out of was sold. Somebody bought it. And I need to make sure that there was nothing that was going to interfere with this sale of a building. There was nothing that was going to interfere with what we were going to do with this building, because big corporations were buying that. They were going to make sure that we could put this up as a place where folks could stay. You coming to town? It's a great place to have as condominiums where we can say, guess what we got? What we got? Timeshares. What? Yeah, this is going to be timeshares. So now y'all see why I'm spent. The death of Seth Donaldson not being classified as a murder, not being classified as anything such as an accident, but being classified as a suicide was wrong. It was wrong. And I think that all the politics involved has got to be considered in this cluster, you know what. Unfortunately, a young man lost his life. But with all the agencies of law enforcement that were involved in this issue, because we saw the state police, we saw the NOPD, we saw the detectives, we had all these different agencies. I guess my question to Ms. Donaldson would be, what's going to happen? Even if we prove it wrong, what's going to happen? My confidence level in what we saw is shook. My confidence level is shook. And I'm hoping that everybody else here, too, can look around and say, the NOPD needs to reopen this case. Dr. McKenna, who I know very well. I know Ms. Beverly. I know Dr. McKenna. I need you to look at this case again. Especially how I see it. I don't want to look around and say to myself that politics had a lot to do with this. But politics had a lot to do with this. And I definitely don't think this is a racial issue. This is not a racial issue. But I will put it this way, Howard. If this could happen to Seth, imagine what could happen to you. If this could happen to Seth, and I know that's a terrible comparison. But I really feel that politics has everything to do with this right now. From the calls that I got last night, this is a political issue just as much as we're talking about somebody being on the take, maybe with some type of permitting, all this other stuff. But that, to me, that don't have anything to do with this young man's death. That has to do with the ramifications of what this building was. And that's what made me go, whoa, Nelly. All of y'all that's been on the fight to get some type of equality in your neighborhoods, in your community, when we're starting to look around and saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, y'all know good and damn well y'all got ignored more than I did by the previous administration and called everything but a child of God. And I would not put this past those folks that had the audacity to write and publish articles entitled "The Return to Splendor." Stand up for statues in our community that meant something to Civil War, when you have a 67% African American base, or when they had a posse that came in here and kicked the ass of the police department because they didn't want to have a black police officer on the force. Y'all remember this? And then the ultimate, your former mayor talking about something, he's going to be on a tour writing a book about equality and racial harmony. Come on. Come on. Politics is everywhere. And I got to tell you, in this one, Seth's death has fallen under a category that is not a homicide. Seth's death does not fall under the category of a homicide. And that has to be considered. So I did not plan to have this conversation today for the whole show. I did want to talk about it for a few minutes because this has bothered me. And then I got some more telephone calls I got to return today from powers that be that heard the show yesterday or went back and saw it last night, because I did see a lot of folks going back and seeing the show. But I got to thank Miss Amy Donaldson. I got to thank Katie Moore from Channel 4. I got to thank Stella Cement, who is the deputy chief over at the IPM's office. I got some more folks that I've reached out for, but they have yet to return the call. Now, a lot of folks want to talk to me off record, you know. They don't want to be on record. Some of them I will let talk to me off record. But the part of this that makes me sick is the ones that can make the difference that want to talk to me about this off record. And I'm just shaking my head the entire time going like, you can make a difference. Why you want to talk to me about this off record? It's complicated. What? So the death of this young man is political. It's political. And unfortunately, Seth's death is a part of the political process. Unfortunately. I am going to have a conversation this afternoon on the air. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, but I'm not going to go into the whole show. Our guest this afternoon on WBOK will be the CEO of the nonprofit that is doing land trusts in New Orleans. I don't know if you all heard that show or not, but they got really on windy about nonprofits coming in and taking your land and doing all this other stuff, yada, 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 but not really understanding what it's all about. So Julius Kimbrough, who is from the Crescent City Community Land Trust, along with Wendy, will be our guest this afternoon talking about land trusts. Because folks are thinking that they're coming in and taking your land and then building on it and then telling you you could rent the land or whatever. That's not how it goes. And then a lot of folks started calling in and telling Wendy that they didn't like it. They didn't like what it was. We should be owning our own land and yada, 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 yada. And when I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting conversation. Now, I will say maybe this is something different compared to what a lot of folks thought before, because buying land in New Orleans, we almost done. And don't forget, there's so much other land in New Orleans that we got folks now that's coming into town to buy your land, and they buying it, rebuilding it, and next thing you know, your neighborhood that you lived in, you can't afford to live there no more. You can't afford to live in certain sections of town. You can't afford to live in Lakeview. And it's getting to be that you ain't going to be able to afford living in the Lower Ninth Ward. Walk down Central City streets these days and you be like, what the hell? And you better be paying attention. So find out what this land trust is and how do you get involved. You own the establishment on the land, but you don't own the land. So how does that work? They're going to explain it this afternoon at 2. I'll be on at 1 o'clock, but they will be with us at 2 p.m. today. All right. I still feel like I need to take me a nap before I go to work today. That's terrible, huh? That is so terrible. Because I feel like I just lost a part of what I believe in. And I believe in that anybody that has to go through this should deserve some type of answers. I need to take me an old people nap. That's what I need to take me an old people nap. Khaleesi called me the old man. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. Don't let the light skin fool you, girl. Don't let the light skin fool you. But I am going to try to put everything together and get it together and do my show today. So get ready for that. That's at 1 o'clock today. And don't y'all have me sitting up there on the air by myself, talking to myself for 3 hours. Because yesterday, it was eerie. It was eerie. Somebody will call you and talk to you about just about anything. You bring something up, somebody calls. Yesterday, I got no calls. It was eerie that I was sitting there having a conversation with Ms. Donaldson, talking to Katie Moore from Channel 4, and also talking to Stella Cement from the Independent Police Monitor's office. But none of my regulars called in. It was either y'all were scared or just blown away from the information. It made me go, wow, where everybody at? Is this a ghost town now? I was doing my T-Tucker. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? It was very eerie. It was eerie. And I think that everybody was shocked like me. I do say that. I'm evaluating it and saying I think everybody was shocked like me. That this has happened and happening not 10, 15 years ago, but happening now. I had to go in and Wick said I harassed him. I did. I harassed him. I between the breaks, I would get up and go in and talk to him and be like, man, what's going on? And he was stunned like I was. I don't know. I don't know. But many of you were online listening. I appreciate you doing so because I checked my stats last night and just looked up and said, geez, everybody and their mom was listening last night. So, and look, I need y'all to also do me a favor. Let folks know that we back on the air. You know, a lot of folks still don't know that we're back on the air. I don't want to say they don't know that I'm back on the air. No. They don't know that I'm back on the air, but let them know. Let them know. And let them know we have some very serious conversations. You know, we get ignorant every once in a while, but we got some pretty good stuff. We got a lot of good stuff. So that's what it is. That's what it is. So make sure you join us. We're there at 1 o'clock. I try to make sure that we do 2 different broadcasts on Facebook. Of course, folks will go to my Facebook page. So I make sure that, yep, we're there. Yeah, we're going to have it there. I'm hoping that our streaming is a little bit better, our Wi-Fi. And then, of course, we're on the WBOK Facebook page. And, of course, streaming on WBOK1230.com. Okay, so that's at 1 o'clock. Other than that, my friends, I got to go. I know I put up about Biden and saying what's going on with Biden. But I had to get that off of my chest today. Maybe we'll talk about Biden in the 1 o'clock hour. What is going on with Biden? He coming in last twice. 4th and 5th. Amy Klobuchar beat him on last night. What's going on? Is he the candidate Is he the candidate that can beat Donald Trump? And looking at Iowa and New Hampshire, somebody's saying, nope, he not. And then the other question I would put in there, are you now looking around and saying, oh my God, who is the candidate that can beat Donald Trump? I don't know, but we'll find out. We will find out. So we'll be talking about that in the 1 o'clock hour. In the 2 o'clock hour, we'll get our conversation about the land trust going. So make sure that you're with us, all right? If you're listening by air, by radio, it's 1230am.com. If you're online, make sure you go to www.wbok1230.com. If you're on Facebook, you can go to the WBOK Facebook page. And if you want to come to my Facebook page, you can come to my Facebook page and check it out as well. All right? Either way, can't say you can't get us. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Yes, indeed. So we'll do that in the 1 o'clock. All those folks, that's for Bloomberg, Duval, Klobuchar, Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders said he got the burn going. Somebody done put the pilot light back on. What is it? And is Biden done? Is he not the candidate or what? So come on. Y'all make sure y'all join me at 1 o'clock. Central Time for my folks on the East Coast. I know I got a lot of folks on the East Coast as well. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you in about, what time is it? 10, 11, 12, 1, 3 hours. I'll see you in about 3 hours. All right? Later on.